Good afternoon. It is Tuesday afternoon. This is September 12th, and today we are talking about 5 things you must have to close your sales calls. I'm James Jacoby, founder and CEO of Ascend Advisors. You are going to love the next 40 to 45 minutes. Please watch this. If you want to do better on your sales calls to close more deals, you will get a lot of value from today. And if you missed last week, we have lots of free action guides that we will DM you. Just message us on social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're watching this. Message us if you want those. We have 21 ways to accelerate your pipeline. So lead gen, really, really good stuff. You will get leads immediately from doing that exercise. We have scripts to revive deals. And today you're going to get an offer to get a free download on what a sales deck, effective sales presentation should look like. We'll give you the framework. Just message us. We'll send it to you. Enjoy. We're doing LinkedIn Live. It is the 12th, and we're going to let people come into the chat here. Get started in about 60 to 2 minutes flat. Just let people come in and we'll get going. But you're not going to want to miss this talk. This is building off of last week. We're going to get into it in just a little bit. Let people come in. Good to see you guys. Sam, Michael, Richard, thanks for joining us. We'll get started in just a second. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. If you're joining me over lunch hour, appreciate it. We're going to get into some really good content today, guys, on what it is that you must do every single time to close your sales calls. And that doesn't mean necessarily it's a one-call close, because for many of us that are in B2B, that's not a thing. You need a few meetings to get there. But we're going to talk about the must-haves that you have to have in B2B today to close your sales, period. And if you missed last week, if this is new for you, thank you for joining today. I appreciate your interest and attention. If you missed our lives last week or the last 2 weeks, we've been covering a lot of material. We've been covering a lot of material on how to accelerate your sales cycle in September. So you have a great opportunity to win some more business before the end of the year and to fill your pipeline for January and Q1. We talked about a lot of reasons why the buying landscape is different in 2023 than it is before. But we've also talked about the tried and true ways of B2B sales that still work, like email marketing and cold calling and social media selling. It all works together harmoniously. You just have to have a system and a process and a methodology to make it effective. We cover all that. So if you missed last week or the week before and you would like the materials that we gave away for free, just message us through DM. Just direct message me here and my team will get that to you. We have a couple things that I think you'd like. One is the 21 ways to accelerate your pipeline guideline. It's 21 different micro tactics and strategies that you can use today. Literally, it's going to work immediately. It takes about an hour of your time to read through, prepare, and implement, but you will get leads immediately from that exercise that you can set into meetings and start, driving some more sales right now. It works every single time, guaranteed. So you should grab that. 2 is if you want scripts for closing meetings or driving stalled deals, we got some scripts for email and text messages that you're going to want to grab. We'll send those to you too. So all this is free. There's no catch. We just want to drive massive value so you can go kick ass and make a lot of sales. How does that sound? So that's what we're here for. So here we go. Today and the rest of this week, our topic is going to shift a little bit. I want to focus on the meeting now. Okay, we've talked a lot about lead nurturing, lead management, all that over the last week and a half, I want to get into the meeting now and really cover some things that probably maybe some things you don't know about what the meeting should look like. The first meeting, the first sales call. And you might have a sales process where it is a one call close. Good for you. That's great. The stuff today that we'll cover will help you close more then. But if it's not, then this is going to be the crucial call that you have to get right in order for you to get the next call, obviously, but to really fast track the sale and or not. If it's not an immediate opportunity or near opportunity in the next 60 to 90 days, if not sooner, then this meeting structure, this execution of the call should help you, because you need to know as the seller what's a real opportunity for you or not. You don't want to be faked out by a fake pipeline, right? How many times has that happened to you this year? If you're a normal person, it's probably happened a little bit. It's happened to me. It's normal. It happens in sales, even if you're really good at it. It's a thing. So we just got to make sure that we're smart with how we treat opportunities, qualify them, and if they're legit, how to move them quick, because time is ticking. Or if it's not good, or for whatever reason it's not a good opportunity, then at least we can just dismiss it and move our energy on to something different that needs our attention, right? So I got some stats for you guys today. I got questions for you to ask yourselves on your own sales process and call. And I got some 5 must-haves of what has to happen on these calls if they're going to go the way you want them to. And really, that's a trick answer, because the way you want them to should either be to get the sale done or to get them out of your freaking pipeline as fast as you can. One or the other. No man's land is bad, and that's where most people get stuck, and they let way too much time and energy sit there, and it's killing your sales volume. It's killing your ability to get more deals done and focus on the right prospect. And so we're going to clean that up today and talk about some things you can do that's going to help you focus in on the good stuff. And guys, these questions, I'm going to give you questions, okay? And if you want, this is the new freebie this week. I got some action guide, a guide for having a great sales call today. If you want this, I'll send it to you. But there's a bunch of questions in here and things to think about and some stats all bundled in one. It's a one-pager, and we'll send it to you. It's great. You can use this with yourself, your team. Use it in training this week. If you guys have to do sales training with your team, they'll love this stuff. It's really, really good. So I want to first get into the buyer. All right. They showed up to the call for a reason. They're on it for a reason. So let's not waste their time, and let's not assume anything either. Now, some of you may have some pre-call data that could help you with the focus of the call. It could just be from your own intuition, from maybe some back and forth direct messages or emails, or maybe you actually have some kind of form that they fill out that gives you a little more insight. But for most of the time, you don't have a ton to go off of besides, their company, their industry, what they sell and what they market to. And you have a little bit of intuition, I would assume, if this is your business and your industry that you service in, you kind of know generally what their problems are in their business that would require your service or your product, right? You have that basic understanding. So that's known. But what we got to get to in this call quickly is the next level deep. It's really important because, as again, some stats I'll share with you guys here today and some of the must-haves, personalization, tailored fit is a must-have for you to close this sale. They need to know it's for them. So how do we get there? We need to ask some questions, some really good questions. And these questions, exactly like this or something like this, or if you do these are going to really, really help you gain a lot of information on what's really going on there. It's also going to set you up to show off your expertise. It's also going to set you up to present a pathway and a solution that makes total sense for them. And until you get these questions answered, I would highly recommend not giving your price of your program or your service or whatever it is, or presenting the solution at all. I would highly recommend not doing those things until you get some of these questions answered. Okay. So here's 5 questions I'm going to give you. If you get all 5, you should have a clear runway to have an incredibly tailored delivery of what it is that you do, how you help exactly for this particular buyer in this particular situation. And it will help you close more deals because they're going to see that it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's something that really, really makes sense for them. Okay. So here's the 5 questions that maybe you do some of these now, but if not, start using these in your calls and you will see a difference in the conversation. Ready? So number 1, why are we on this call? Why are we on the call? Ask them. What are we on the call for today? Let them tell you their intention. They'll tell you. And they may not give a long answer, which is fine because we're going to ask some more questions that get deeper. But let's start with that. Why are we on this call today? What do you want to get out of this call? They're going to tell you, hey, we're considering your solution. It was interesting, your program, or we're looking at this, we're looking at that. Okay, great. Let me get a little bit more clear on what's going on your end, if you don't mind. Where are you at in the process right now of buying a solution like this? They're going to tell you. I mean, they might not be completely honest, but if you're authentic about it and you show that you care and use some nice tonality here, they're going to open up. Because at the end of the day, they want help, right? So what I want to get achieved with these questions is not just to get good information. I want to start building massive trust with my tonality and my care about what's really going on in their company. And I want to do it so damn good that they feel that I care more than anyone else they've ever talked to about this. That's my goal right now. I want them to feel so attended to that this is like an incredible call for them. That's what I'm thinking as I'm doing this, right? So number 3 is, hey, appreciate you letting me know where you're at in the process and what's going on. What do you want to learn about us? Exactly. Like what specifically would you like to learn about what we do or what we can do for you, what we're about, what's of interest to you? That's really important because they may have done some research on you already. They probably did. And they've already talked to some other competitors to you, most likely as well. And they're looking for some specific things that they're weighing you against already in their mind. We need to know what that is, because if you don't find that out, then you're going to give a really vanilla pitch to what it is that you do, and you're not sure if it's going to land the plane. So there may be more layers to this stuff going on there than they're telling you, but at least they're giving you some insight into what exactly are they interested in learning from you specifically, because that has to be addressed first for you to show that you're listening to them. 2, if it's compelling, they're going to want to lean in more, and it's going to give you more time to then further round out your presentation of what it is that you can do for them. So what do you want to learn from us? What is it specifically? Number 4 is, what's the real outcome here that you're going after? I mean, I get why you're here and what you want to learn, but really, like, once you decide and buy the thing that makes the most sense for you, what's the outcome from that you really want to get? And why is that important to you? That's a combo question. One question, but it's combo. Why is, what is it that you really want to get out of this? What's the outcome? Why is that important to you right now? That's number 4. Number 5 then is, and this is kind of downplay your own ego and your own authority for a second. Give them some credibility that they're smart too, because they are. These people have talked about this internally and guarantee you a lot. Whatever the problem is over there, they talk about it a lot. So let's give some credit to those conversations and just be fascinated by that for a second and say, listen, I'm sure you guys have probably talked about this quite a bit internally. Just curious, like, why can't you do this yourself? Give them the ability to have awareness around their own capabilities, their own strengths and weaknesses. And this answer here is really going to help you out, because this is going to further drive the wedge, the gap between why they can't do this and why they need you so bad, if they're honest about it. But if you just ask with authenticity and care, because most people don't even ask these questions, why wouldn't they tell you? Like, it's a legit question. You're like, hey, I mean, I could help you, maybe. I don't really know yet. Like, I'm trying to understand what's going on first. There's no sense in me presenting what we do or how we do it if it doesn't make sense. So, and I don't even know what you've already tried or what you've thought about doing or why you think you can't do this yourself. I'm just curious. And honestly, most cases, guys, you've probably seen the same thing. A lot of times it's just the fact that they don't have any freaking time. They don't have energy to put into the thing that they want fixed. They're busy with other stuff. And they don't even know where to begin to fix the issue, whatever it is, in a systematic way that's going to get them the outcome that they want as fast as they want it, right? And so they're looking for an expert. In most cases, something like that's the reason, most likely. But again, don't assume, let them tell you. That's why we're asking. It's going to help you shape up your presentation perfectly, because you'll know exactly what to address, what to present, because of the situation they're exactly in today and where they want to be. Now, this is a little bit more fancy way of some of the basic maybe sales call questions you've seen before, training before, around, hey, what's your ideal outcome, and why can't you, why is it so important now, and what would happen if you don't take action today and go do it, all that typical stuff, right? Let's not be cheesy though. Like, let's just care as human beings about this and use these questions in a way that sounds authentic for you, and let them tell you the answers to the playbook, because they're going to give it to you if you do this right. 9 times out of 10, they'll give you the answers, which is what you need. One, so that you can assess if you actually can help them or not. Maybe what they tell you in all this is information that makes you think like, geez, they do need help, but we're not exactly the right fit for what they need. We can't do some of the stuff that they need help with, or we're not good at it, or it's something different. How refreshing would it be for a buyer to hear that? So you know what? I hear what you're saying. We can help you with this. I'm not sure if we're the best fit for that. But if you're open to fixing this part of it, we could talk about that. I don't know if we're the right fit for all that though, because that's just not really our focus area. And I'm not sure even necessarily even if you need to focus on that first or not, if we fix this thing over here. Like, if you're just honest about your own strengths and capabilities too in this conversation, it builds a lot of trust, guys. Because at the end of the day, people want to buy from people they like and trust. They don't want to buy from a salesperson. You know that. But when we ask questions like this and we have this kind of authentic conversation, we're having a really good conversation about the issue at hand. And we're addressing it from different angles at the same time, and really making the most out of this call for them and for us. So those questions are going to really help you. Use those to start. Like, in the first 10 minutes, we need to get through that. 5-10 minutes, we need to get through those questions, because at that point you're going to make a decision, and this is where you got to show up and be ready to rock and roll and be this and save the day and come in as the expert and take control and dominate this entire thing, which you actually already were doing. If you do this, you're dominating the conversation, you're controlling it in a good way. But now we want to control it in the way of the sale. So if it makes sense, and you can check all the boxes in your head of like, yep, this person is literally perfect for us. They have all the issues, all the concerns, all the reasons why they need to work with us and how we can help them. Now it's your time to show them why. So that gets into the next thing. So what we just hit on there, guys, that one of the big must-haves is awareness. If they didn't have it fully before, those questions there should bring out even more awareness to their own problem and to what they really want to do with this. And you just gave them some clarity that's going to help set up your sale. So awareness is really, really important. If we can't get our buyer to have full awareness like when we're putting this in front of them, it's gonna be really tough to land the plane for you. So and hopefully they had enough of it before, so it's not that much work, but sometimes you need to do the whole thing, and that's gonna accelerate the sale. You got to have awareness if you want to accelerate your sales close. Now, number 2 for the must-have is they got to believe that you're the best option for what's going on. They got to believe it. How do they believe it? Well, part of it is actually in what you just did, because people want to buy from people that they trust and believe that they're an expert. If you ask good questions better than anyone else, they're going to think you're better than they are, just from the quality of the questions that you ask. That's really important to understand in sales. So remember that. That's going to dramatically shift their perception of who you are just from the quality of the questions you're asking them. It makes them feel real good, and they think really great about where this is going. They're super interested now for you to basically just prove that you are the best solution for them. So if you don't have a sales deck, I highly recommend that you have one. I'm not talking about a 40 PowerPoint slide deck that's nauseating and will take an hour to get through. Don't do that. Don't take something from marketing if you're in a bigger company that said, hey, we got to sell this way. I mean, sure, tell them maybe, hey, great, yeah, we'll do it that way, but we're going to go close sales the way we know how to. I love you, marketing, but we need to be smart about what we put in front of our prospects here. So what I'm talking about is you need about an 8 to 10 page slide deck, visual aids that can land the plane for proving that you are the best solution. And we have a template for this as well that we can send to you if you'd like. But basically what you need in this short visual aid deck that you can show them, because people are visual learners. I'm a visual learner. I am not good at audio, even though we're talking on LinkedIn audio right now. I can listen, but I might be driving, I might be walking, I might be doing something else. I need to see something, especially if it's a solution and an approach, a method, a pathway to get me to the outcome. I need some visual aid. So we need to have a slide that can show visually, sequentially, how this works. Whatever it is that you do, the product or the service, whatever it is, I need to see visually how this whole thing works, and phase it out. There's different representations on how to do this. We actually have a few different ways that we use to do this. But one, you want to start out your deck with, again, positioning and credibility. So with the way we do it is we restate who we are. We restate our authority or any credibility, any awards, any big names that people would know for this buyer. We would put those brands or awards or accolades up front just to build a little bit of credibility and trust. We would then restate what it is that we do as a business and how we help buyers just like you. We will show on a screen proof that we've served in your industry before. Well, hopefully you can show that if you can. We know your industry, we know your business, we have clients just like you. We can show you that. So we can show you that real quick. So just so you know that we know your business. And then we can get into, now that the trust thing is out of the way, because I've already proven it through the level of questions I've asked you and the quality of the conversation. But I just wanted to show you visually some accolades, awards, brand reputation that's out there. In case you didn't know or you didn't do your research, I'm going to show you what you're going to find if you do your homework on us. This is us. This is our what we're proud of. This is why we're great. I mean, we do not want to spend a lot of time on that. Maybe like a minute, not even a minute, like 30 seconds. We don't want to talk about ourselves that much. We want to get into what they want to hear. We want to get into the how. Okay, here's the solution. Here's how it works. People want to know the how. Show them the how. What does it look like to work with you? What's the program? What's the service? What's the product? When they buy it, what happens next? We talked about this last week in one of the lives. A lot of people can make a mistake buying from the wrong service provider or product because they didn't do enough due diligence on their own accord to vet out the right solution for them. I want to avoid that for my buyers. I want to help them make the right decision. So I'm going to even tell them what to think about because I already know they're looking at other competition. It's not just us. So when we get into this methodology in a second, I actually juxtapose our solution against the market, our competitors, and I say, here's our pathway. And I'm going to show it to you and show you exactly how this works. But I just want you to know, as you're talking to potentially other suitors for working with you, here's some questions you should be asking them just to make sure they're going to get you what you really need. You see how that works? I'm basically calling my shot. If you guys have ever seen the movie Air, you guys know what I'm talking about. But in that movie about the Nike Air Jordans, the guy in the movie basically calls out his competition and says, hey, I know you're talking to the bigger companies that are more credible or more bigger brand, whatever than us, more market share, whatever. But we know our competition better than you do. And so I just want you to know, like, hey, when you go meet with them, I want you to ask them these questions and let them tell you the answers. And I guarantee you they're going to tell you this. And they called it right on the money. And the answers to the questions were not good because it was going to reveal that they didn't have the best interest in mind for the buyer. And Nike did. So same kind of thinking here is, use some psychology there to help you and say, listen, here's our solution. And we're going to walk through this, but I just want you to know, as you vet us, and I want you to vet us, we welcome it. Use these questions against your other people you're talking to and see if they can give you the answers of what you should be hearing from that. And if you don't, I would be concerned if I were you. They can do whatever they want. They're adults, but we're the experts here. We're the Sherpas. We need to tell them what to do, what not to do, and why. And they can take our advice or they can leave it. But this is the moment of the call where you can give it incredibly good advice. And it's either going to set you up to be the best expert and they're going to love you and they're going to buy from you, or they're just going to dismiss it. But at least you did your due diligence and your job on being the trusted advisor in this call. So you get that out, and then you show them the pathway. What does it look like to work with you? What's the steps? What's the process? Help me understand the buyer's journey as we continue this relationship from here. And how is this going to work? Show me and what do people want to know in B2B most likely? They want to know, steps. They want to know how much time is this going to take? They want to know how much energy they have to put into this. They want to know the ROI that comes from this solution. So if you can show a spreadsheet or a graph with numbers on how this brings ROI to their business, that is going to speak volumes to the numbers of people in the room that look at this deck, because they're going to pass this around with their team, just so you know that. But it comes down to dollars and cents, and it comes down to value at the end of the day, right? It comes down to those things. So you got to show that a visual representation of that on your deck. That's going to speak really well to what they want to see and what they want to hear. Remember, all the things that you're showing them is just logical reinforcement of why you're the best solution. If you're already in this part of the call and you've gotten here, they like you somewhat, right? They just need logical proof now to show like you got a pathway and a really clear way to get to the outcome. Like it's a solid logical approach to get the outcome. That's going to help them logically believe that you can help them. Two, if you can show them a better representation of that than anyone else, they're going to trust you more. Three, they want to see that they can get the outcome in a reasonable amount of time. So if you can show time wise, roughly when they can expect to get the outcome they're buying you for, even better. And then if you can put dollars and numbers behind it with ROI with against their investment and show them the investment numbers there, then the numbers make sense. So you can do all of that in 8 to 10 slides. You don't need a 40 slide deck or a 30 or whatever. You can do that in 8 to 10 slides. If you want the framework, we'll send it to you. It works. We use it all the time. It's great. Teach it to our clients. So they got to believe you're the best option. How are we doing on time? Good. We got 10 minutes left. Three. I just stated three, but you got to show them the way. That's the must-have. The must-have for number three is you got to show them the way on and basically showing the tailored approach to their business issue. You got to show your methodology, but then show exactly how that fits their situation. You got to talk through that and show them that. If they can understand that, now they can see exactly how this will apply to their business right now. It's perfect. It's exactly what they needed to see in here. And based on what you've collected in the first 10 minutes, you can use that information here to then, tailor this conversation. So now that we've done that, it's time to take this thing home. You've given them some outs to go vet other people. You've given them answered all their questions of what they wanted to get. It's time to get permission and a mutual agreement to take the next step. So this is where we got to check again. Like, hey, how are we doing here, guys? Does this make sense for you? Do you like this? Do you have any concerns about what we just showed you? Like, get some buy-in. And then ask permission. Would you like to talk about next steps and what it would look like to move forward with this? Let them choose. The more you make your prospects choose and not force it on them, the stronger your percentage of close will be, because they are self-selecting themselves to work with you. That's what you want. You don't want to force anyone into a sale. If they tell you like, hey, you know what, this sounds awesome, I'm really interested, I just need to digest this for a day or two, let them digest it for a day or two. Don't use those cold, hard closing tactics of old school and not, don't let them off the phone, whatever stuff, or Zoom or whatever. Don't do that. That might work in some B2B, B2C stuff, but this is B2B. We don't usually make buying decisions on the sale on the one meeting here, usually, unless it's a one call close and that it's a smaller investment product, maybe. But in most cases, if you're selling a reasonably high ticketed, mid-ticket price point for whatever it is you're selling, you're not gonna get the sale done on this call. But we got to make sure that you're teed up to get the sale done soon. So if they need a couple of days, give it to them. Because put it this way, if your call was good enough, they're not going to let you go. They know you're the best, and they know they want to work with you. Now it's just up to them if they want to do it now or not. And honestly, guys, if you're executing a service, and you need their attention and their energy, that's something they got to wrestle with as a buyer, because they got to bring you in to their company. They got to make that an emotional investment of energy and time. It's a little taxing, even if it's a good thing. So if they got to stew on that for a few days or a week, that's okay. But here's the must-have number 4 with that is whatever it is that they want, still drive the process. Number 4, the must-have, you got to drive the process. On your deck, tell them, here's the next steps of moving this forward. Here's exactly what we got to do. Typically, it's something like, hey, if this is still of interest to you guys, then let's schedule the next call right now. Let's get it on the calendar before we get off, so it's on the calendars. Nothing's worse than chasing them down again to get the next meeting. That sucks. You know it sucks. You lose days and weeks from that. Don't do that. Get the next call booked on that call. And then talk about window of decision time. Hey, you told me where you were at in the process earlier in the call. Based on what you saw today, you think a decision can be made in the next week or two at the latest? Or is this something that is just a later priority for you? Like, where are you at with this? It's okay to ask that question. It's a great question to ask, because now it helps them think through, like, yeah, we need to do this now, or this is really, really good. We're kind of semi window shopping, but we want this, and it's a priority for us maybe like in a month from now, but not that long. It's this quarter, next 90 days. It's within the quarter. It's just not like tomorrow. Okay, fair. We can talk through how to do that. Here's another possible thing to put in front of them to test the strength of their interest at this point. Not only get the next call scheduled, but also offer some things like this up. Say, hey, does it make sense then to also at this point take a look at our statement of work and our agreement? Would you like us to send that over to you? See if they say yes. A lot of times they will. But if it's too early, they'll tell you no. That doesn't make sense yet. Then that should also then tell you, don't get too excited about this deal yet. It's a little early. It's okay. We're gonna have some follow up to this, but if they're like, yeah, send it over, let's look at it. Great. We can review it on the next book call that we have, which is great. Answer any questions that you have, and in the meantime, we just recommend you take us up on our advice and go vet hard and vet us and let us know what you think. Give them the room to breathe and make their own decision. It's so much more fun for your buyer to make the choice on their terms, not yours. It's gonna be a more enjoyable buying experience if you do it that way. No one wants to get strong armed into a deal. That sucks. It's not fun. So don't do that. If it is time, number 5, to close this thing, and maybe this is then the second call if you have a multiple call close, but it's time to get the payment, get the contract signed. Now, if we're talking enterprise deals here, it's a little bit more tricky. I get that. And I've sold enterprise. I've sold the Fortune 100 companies. I know what that looks like. So there's a little bit more complexity to what I'm about to say. But if it's a more simplistic deal and you are dealing with the business owner, you're dealing with the decision maker in the budget, and they can sign off and do this on the phone, on the Zoom, send over the payment link, have them pay on the call, have them sign if they're ready on the call, or have them pay and then sign. But drive revenue capture, drive close of sale. If you can, if it makes sense for your business. I understand if you're in a complex sales, it's harder to do that. I get it. But even try it still. You'd be surprised how much you can, if you just try to drive it more, you might shock yourself. You might get more sales quicker than you usually do, because people are willing to do that. So, but take the payment live if you can. Helps a lot. It helps some things move forward. You're helping them move forward. Sometimes it actually takes pressure off them or energy off them to do it later when they get to it. You're not being mean or a jerk, but you're just kind of like saying, hey, I'm going to help you move forward now. Let's take the payment and then go. Because then once you pay, we can set up our kickoff call right then and there, and we're good. Now we're going to talk about launching. So those are the 5 must-haves, guys. I gave you the 5 key questions you got to ask up front. And on top of that, as we close this out, I just want to share a couple of things that I was doing some research on for this today. 68 to 80% of B2B customers prefer doing their own research online. That shouldn't surprise you. That's the real. We talk about it all the time. This is why content marketing is really, really big, guys. is you get some information out there for you, let them digest it. It's going to make your calls go better. But if they haven't seen a lot of your content yet, or their website or anything about your offer, and that's why we got to have a deck on hand in our call, because we got to show them some visual stuff. We got to show them some content on the call to help close the sale up. Content consumption. B2B buyers engage with a variety of content during the buying process. White papers, 78%. Webinars, 67%. Or LinkedIn Lives or anything live presentations, 67%. Case studies, 52%, are among the most influential types of content. So do you guys have that kind of stuff in your arsenal right now for selling? If you don't, get it. Get help. You need this stuff. It's going to help you accelerate your sales a lot, because people need to digest what you do. They need time. They want to feel experience on their own terms. So get it before they meet with you, hopefully. 92% of B2B buyers are more likely to purchase after reading a trusted review. Not surprising, but it's a good stat. We got to be showing our results, guys. Anything that can point to how we get our outcomes, what it looks like, reviews, whether that's a Google review, or even if you can just show reviews on your own deck and materials that point to references, all that's good. But we got to get that in front of our prospects. That's going to help. Go back to, again, what we said is they got to trust you. They got to think that you're the best solution for them, period. All that stuff will help you. It's all psychology. It's all part of the buying decision, right? So when it comes to, I'll close with this. When it comes to being effective in your sales strategy to close more deals, what are the reasons of why people buy, period? What are they? Value and ROI, number one. Price isn't a thing, really. It is, but it isn't. If the value is there and the ROI is there, price is irrelevant in most cases. So if you can present what we talked about here effectively, you're going to drive a lot of value on that call, and the ROI will be apparent. So number two is quality and reliability. The sharper you can present yourself on the call with the collateral and the way you handle yourself and the tonality and the structure of it, and you have some proof to back it up, you're well on your way home. Cost efficiency is number three. I would also put in that energy management is baked into that. I see so much hesitation from buyers because of the energy management. It's a thing in 2023. It's more than it's ever been. People are freaking swamped. We got to show energy-wise how this can work with what their lives are like today. We got to meet them where they're at. We got to show them how this will get implemented and work for them on their own daily life right now. Huge. If you can show that to your buyer, you are going to win more deals. Because it's sometimes at the end of the day, it's not they didn't like you or didn't want to believe you. They just couldn't realistically see how it could fit in their current busy life and business life. If you can represent that on paper and talk about that, that will help you drive sales a lot right now. So there you go. We packed a ton of stuff in 45 minutes there. But if you guys want any of this stuff I referenced that we can send to you, please hit us up on DM. I see some of you doing that right now. Thank you. Good to see you. We will get that to you. And then come back tomorrow. We are here tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern for more of this. And we'll see you next time. Have an awesome afternoon.